There was a time when the heartthrob George Clooney didn't even want to get married and have kids, but ever since his now wife, Amal Clooney, came into his life, he's changed a lot. Do you want to know about the details of these changes in George Clooney's life? Well, then you're at the right place, as we're here with all the details for you today. So, let's get started. Amal Clooney herself didn't want to start a relationship with George in the beginning, and on top of that, even her father was not approving of this relationship. Amal, who's a world-famous barrister, has her own reasons for deciding not to date George, but George previously got married to Talia Balsam in 1989, but the two parted ways only after 4 years and got divorced in 1993. After the divorce, while talking about it in an interview, George said that he should not have gotten married at all and that he treated Talia unfairly. Then later, in an interview with Barbara Walters, George said that he would never get married again. Over the years, in many interviews, he reinforced that he is not interested in marriage or having children. You would be surprised to know that George Clooney even made a bet with actress Michelle Pfeiffer that he would definitely not be married by the time he turns 40. Over the years, George has dated many actresses, and some might even have wanted to have some serious things with him, but none of them succeeded in changing his mind. When George first met Amal, he fell in love with her instantly. He wrote her several letters in order to convince her to go out on a date with him. But despite all of this, Amal was very hesitant. She had already lost hope of finding her true love. She once said that she met George when she was 35, and at that point, she started to become quite resigned to the idea that she was going to be a spinster. However, George still kept writing to her and persuading her to go out with him. But at the same time, he was being cautious because of the age gap between the two. While talking about it in an interview, George said that he liked her, but he did not want to jump the shark on it. He said that he could not tell whether Amal liked him or not, as you know, and he was 17 years older than her, and she might have thought that he was a grandpa. Nevertheless, George finally won her over, and Amal agreed to go out with him. But still, Amal's family, especially her father, was not on board with her decision. This is why George had put in a lot of effort to convince Amal's father that he was serious about Amal and that his intentions were pure. Some journalists also spread the rumors that Amal's mother was against the marriage of the two because of their religious differences. George called the author of the article out, and the author had to apologize, but even then George did not accept his apology. Despite being together for quite some time, when George proposed to Amal, she was utterly shocked and did not even give him the answer for almost 30 minutes. Even though Amal knew that marrying George Clooney would mean a lot of invasion of privacy, with paparazzi following you around everywhere and journalists cooking up new gossip about you, she made her decision and decided to marry George. She said that she would never want to be with anyone else. Getting married to Amal literally changed George Clooney's life in every way, as the same guy who used to say children are not for him in almost every interview now wanted to have kids. Knowing that he has such a hectic schedule, it's difficult to imagine George giving his children time. But when his twins were born in 2017, he did everything he can to stay around. He took a step back from acting in 2016 when Amal got pregnant and did not take up any projects until 2020, just so that he can be there with his kids. Amal once said that seeing George with their children, Ella and Alexander, is the greatest joy of her life. George and Amal still have a rule of not being away from each other for more than a week. George, who used to date a lot of women in the past, is now committed to the one and only love of his life. He's changed everything about his lifestyle. He does not go out that much just so that he can keep his family away from the paparazzi. Even though he loves his job, he has started signing up for less projects than he normally used to so that he could spend most of his time with his wife and his kids. Click on one of the 4 videos on your screen right now, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.